Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second round of the Simsport Racing ACC GT4 Season 1, Round 2. This time we were at Brands Hatch last time out, but this time we head to the infamous Hungaroring. Alex Goldschmidt and Steve Proudly, your official commentators. And Steve, very good evening. How are you, mate? Did you have a good weekend?
I did, Alex. Thank you very much. Good evening to you, and hopefully you enjoyed your weekend off from Simsport Racing.
Well, I didn't really exactly have a weekend off, for those that might have known. Obviously, firstly, a big thank you to Jack Oliphant for literally being dropped in out of the frying pan and into the fire. We were due to have Chris Buxton joining, but obviously he fell ill, and Jack did a fantastic job. I understand it was a great race at Kyle Army for GT3, which we'll be talking a little bit about later on. But firstly, we've got an interesting reverse grid because obviously for those wondering about the championship, we qualified at Brands Hatch, and it was only a 10-minute qualifying session, but we've got our first reverse grid of this championship, which runs all the way through to the 26th of August. But firstly, let's have a look at the points. Aaron Walker doing a fantastic job in his 99 Porsche. Stephen Haley in second, Cody Pride in third. Regan Mitchell and Chris Crossman ran out the top five. But we had 24 competitors, 20 of which, Steve, scored last time out at Brands, and some of the most I think there's been a bit of a Twitter frenzy thanks to the likes of Michael Haffenden and Tim Fulbrook and the two Ginettas, who are currently 11th and 13th in the standings. So there's been a lot of interest in the GT4 Season 1 so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there has. I mean, the drivers that raced last week were really, they were buzzing after the race. There was some fantastically close racing. Everybody enjoyed it. And obviously, we're always pushing on social media. So when we get new drivers in, like those guys, and they're tweeting about how much they enjoyed the racing, obviously, hopefully it has that snowball effect and pulls more people in, because obviously we have got spaces left on the grid. We're keen to get more people signed up and come and race with us because, yeah, as I say, it's very, very close and very, very competitive racing.
So this time we did have 24 cars on the grid. We actually have 20, and there's a bit of an interesting dynamic here. We're going to look at Cody Pride now. He would have started 4 places up the grid, but he decided, Steve, to sign out, said I can't race tonight. Then he signed back in, and that has demoted him right to the back end of the field with Sam Spengeling in the only Alpine. So we have 10 of the 11 brands now, but it's going to be quite interesting with Mark Randenbury and Paul Lindsay leading the way into turn 1 when we get going very, very shortly. But I understand that practice is pretty much towards the end of completion, but that's going to make things even more interesting now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've got sort of some nerves down the whole grid because I know, talking to the guys in the practice room before we came on air, Mark's obviously starting on pole, and he's normally a sort of a mid-pack runner, so it's a new experience for Mark to be on pole position. And then you've got Aaron Walker, who was last week's winner at the other end of the grid, who's a little bit nervous about having to try and fight his way through the field, because the practice times are certainly showing that he's quite a bit quicker than some of the guys on there. So yeah, we should be in for some good overtaking moves as long as the nerves don't get the better of these guys.
And it's a very tight and technical circuit here at the Hungaroring. It's actually the site of Jenson Button's first ever win in Formula 1 back in 2006 with BAR Honda. It's provided some great spectacles over the years, but also it is a mecca for GT3 and GT4 machinery. Just give us an idea of some of the nuances that the drivers will be experiencing here at the Hungaroring, which actually opened back in 1986.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Martin Brundle that sort of compared this track and said it's a street circuit without the houses and some very annoying tight corners. I don't think he rates the track very much, but personally I think it's great. It's a great track. Turn 1 obviously is going to be very competitive on the first lap or two, and that's going to be definitely a big overtaking point. But the GT4s, it's going to be about keeping the cars flowing, keeping everything smooth, and yes, there are lots of corners around here. There's some tight corners, but most of it is just flowing. It flows from corner to corner. I personally like the track, and it's a great experience racing here. And it does make some very, very close racing, especially with the slipstream effect down that long straight.
I mean, it's been quite a lot of memories from motorsport, especially Formula One. You know, the duels of Piquet and Senna, Mansell losing his wheel in '87, and then also in '89 when he actually won from 12th on the grid after a dramatic pass on IS on Senna that year when Mansell was with Ferrari, and Mansell was the last driver to ever be personally selected by Enzo Ferrari to race for the Prancing Horse. This track has also hosted the World Series by Renault. It's also hosted the DTM, the FIA World Touring Car Championship, the Hungaroring Superbike World Championship Grand Prix, and most recently, the FIA GT Championship between 1998 and 2001, and also hosted it back in 2006 and 2009. It's also a track where the likes of Zsolt Baumgartner from Hungary, local to this track, and also Poland's Robert Kubica making their debut as the first F1 drivers of their countries. Robert Kubica is now the first person to have ever, from Poland, taken part in both the DTM and also Formula One, having made his debut this past week at Spa-Francorchamps with Team Orlen ART and the BMW M4. But Steve, we've got 20 competitive drivers. We've got a title race that is going to be battling over the next couple of weeks. We've got Kyle Army next week, Laguna Seca the week afterwards, and then the final round on the 26th of August is Zolder. What are your thoughts coming into the second round at the Hungaroring? As you said, it is like Monaco without the buildings in just its dynamics.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real baptism of fire for the guys, as we say, with the reverse grid. It's something we've not done before, and it will. We're all eager to see how it plays out, because we are just relying fully on drivers to be totally aware of who's around them, because they're going to be so focused on cars in front, and the guys coming from behind are obviously it's going to be 360 degrees of pressure, basically, and if it works, it's going to make for some awesome racing. But we could come away with this with a few incident reports and a few incidents for the stewards to look at. I hope not, but if you don't try these new things, then you don't move forward, you don't progress. We just wanted to be a little bit different to some of the other sim racing groups out there and try something different.
Indeed, especially when the ethos of Simsport Racing is fair, and it's about helping people to learn. It is a community, and one of the big things is that if you are competing in the Simsport Racing GT3 Championship, which is in its third season, and it will be getting underway in the next couple of weeks' time. I think Mons is the next round 5 of the championship, which I will be back in the commentary box with Steve on. But looks like we will be hopefully getting underway very, very shortly for our 45-minute encounter. No mandatory pit stop. But before we do, let's have a look at a quick video before we get racing underway here in Hungary. Welcome back to continuing coverage of the second round of the Simsport Racing ACC GT4 Season 1 Round 2 here at the Hungaroring, and you've just seen the trailer for the next round of the GT3 Season 3 adventure that's happening, which will hit the halfway point at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, which takes place on the 16th of August, and I'm pleased to say that I will be back for the 90-minute encounter alongside Steve Proudly. And Steve, that's going to be another testing circuit. You know, you've got the Rettifilo, you've got the two Lesmos, you've got Parabolica. That's it. It is the temple of speed there, isn't it?
It is, mate. I mean, I personally really like racing at Monza, and I do quite well when I race there with our guys. But a lot of the drivers, they don't like it. They don't find it very exciting. Turn one is always a challenge, and then it's it's just head down and steady away. That they don't find it very technical. But I think it's it's all down to taste. I do. I like it personally. It's one of my favourites, and I think it will make for some interesting racing. Very much so, with the different sort of benefits from various cars. They've all got their own strengths and weaknesses, and some of them have certainly got the a bit more top speed for that long drag down to turn one.
I mean, especially like, say, cars like the Mercedes AMG GT3. You know, that 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V8. I mean, the Aston can go pretty well around there. But as you say, the nuances, if you've got the all-round package, that's going to be quite a good one. For those wondering about the GT3 season itself, 30th of August is at Zolder for two 30-minute sprint races. Then Spa-Francorchamps, which is based around about 100 kilometres southwest of the circuit, considering I was actually 93 kilometres north-northeast of Spa this past weekend in Genk. We have a 2-hour endurance at Spa on the 13th of September. Laguna Seca, as in WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in California, will host round 8 on the 27th of September before we head to the Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona for a 90-minute sprint race on the 11th of October, and rounding out the season, a 2-hour endurance at none other than Le Castellet in France, Paul Ricard, on the 25th of October. Steve, again, we keep on saying about this calendar, not just for GT4s but GT3s, and that's really got all the people really excited about how Simsport is just really coming along. And there's a 12-hour Nürburgring endurance race coming up as well. I think that was October 3rd, if memory serves me correctly, and there's quite a few names that are going to be taking part. It's a charity fundraiser supporting Mind for better mental health, and I can't really think of a better charity to go through. And you're going to have dual class, so GT3 and GT4, and I hear there's some big names coming through as well, aren't there?
Yeah, indeed. It's something that we're just putting together at the moment. We've put some info out there for people to see. We're contacting various drivers at the moment on an invitation basis, and then we'll be opening up to public signings for the remaining slots. We're looking at probably 50 cars, and we're going to look at something like provisionally, hopefully, around 30 GT3 cars and 20 GT4 cars. Confirmed names at the moment. The first couple that have come in from, shall we say, bigger names in the sim world. We've got Aris, one of the devs from ACC, is going to be driving for Team Simsport in a GT4 car, and Jade has confirmed that he will be taking part in a GT3 car. So that's two good names, and there are a few other teams that we've had that are responding to messages and just getting teams together, and we'll be filling in the entry forms very shortly, I do believe.
So Yaroslav Honzik, aka Jardier, who formerly competed in the Virtual GP Championship. I happen to know the producers over there. Luca Scherez, also a big shout out to them over there. They're currently in the throes of their 2020 season. But yeah, that sounds really exciting. I wish I could be a part of it, but unfortunately, my karting commentary strikes again. I'll be in Belgium once again that week. I mean, that's the thing. What I love about Simsport is just how welcoming you guys have been all the way through. But we have a grid to go through. We have less than 30 seconds before we go on the formation lap. Steve, we've got a few absentees here, most notably the likes of Aaron Martin Pilkington, Nikola Dobrevsky with the brightly coloured Mercedes-AMG GT4 is not with us. Chris Pinchbeck, I've noticed, is not on the list. So quite a few drivers. But this is going to really spice up things a little bit, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's definitely going to spice things up a bit, and dare I say it, make it a little bit easier for some of the faster guys to come through from the back, because obviously it's less cars they're going to have to overtake. Just feel a little bit sorry for Mr. Pilkington, who was going to be on pole position, and we certainly know he probably would have had the speed to bring it home tonight if he, keep all back, keeping it on the track. So yeah, I think he's the one that's losing out the most this evening, and it's really unfortunate. But I'm sure the rest of the guys are going to put on a big show for us tonight, and we're going to be in for some fantastic racing. Just a quick shout out to Mr. Haley. He's not here tonight. Obviously finished second last week. He's on family duties a week away from sim racing, which we're all missing him, and I'm sure he's missing us. He's watching the stream currently.
Indeed. So the grid looks to be 19 as opposed to 20 cars that we were scheduled to have. So we're on the formation lap here at the Hungaroring. 2.722 miles, 4.381 kilometers. So your lineup is as follows for round 2 of ACC GT4 season 1 here at the Hungaroring. Mark Raddenbury in the Ginetta G55, the number 75, will start on pole position in the reverse grid race. Paul Lindsay in second in the number 21. Ranjiv Kalsi in the 47 and Angus Martin in the 31. That is row 2. Tim Fulbrook and teammate Michael Haffenden appear to be in different positions to what they should be on the grid, but Tim Fulbrook is 6th ahead of Gianluca De Luca. Michael Haffenden will be 8th. Mark Neutelings, our good friend from the Netherlands, he is in 9th, and he's got Adam Isailovic in the Sol Chevrolet Camaro GT4. Then it's Richard Emery, David Hedges, Johan Pettersson, Chris Crossman, Regan Mitchell. Oh, and Gavin Utley is in the pit lane, so
but I believe, sorry to interrupt there, I think Gavin was he was a sign out, but obviously he's decided to join, so he will have to start from the pit lane, I believe.
Okay, so that puts him behind Cody Pride. But we've got Aaron Walker, Slaven Sver, who was one of the 2 DNFs along with Gavin last time out. John Aegis, he looks to be a new entry for this time. He's running in a Porsche. And then we have the first Alpine on this, the Alpine A110 GT4, Sem Spenkelink, and then we've got Cody Pride, and then Gavin Utley will be starting from the pit lane. Oh! Seconds out, round 2, as they say, as we will start making our way towards turn 12-13 this time around. So Raddenbury and Lindsay will control the pace, and let's see over the next 45 minutes who will get the upper hand. Now, Aaron Walker has got a bit of a mountain to climb, as has Cody Pride. So they come round the final corner. Raddenbury from Lindsay, Kalsi, Martin, Fulbrook, Haffenden, Bidago, De Luca, and all and sundry ready to go racing. Red lights are on the starting gantry. We now go. Do we go green here in Hungary? We are off and away. Great start from Martin, as he's going to try and power past Lindsay heading down into turn 1 as it's 3 abreast, a little bit further down the order into T1 for the first time. Everyone trying to make it nice and cleanly through as it's 3 abreast going through that's one of the Audis trying to go through. Gianluca De Luca has a bit of a banging door panel match with Angus Martin, who now loses around about 4 or 5 positions as a result of that. But going through into turn 2 for the first time. Raddenbury down into second position. Tim Fulbrook, I think, looks to have jumped up into second. So the number 862 making some good headway, as will Michael Haffenden a little bit further down the order. But a cleaner start this time around, wouldn't you say there, Steve?
Yeah, considering all the fast guys are coming from the back, the first 2 corners here sometimes can be a little bit sketchy, but a little bit of door banging, not too bad. The GT4s aren't quite as fragile as the GT3s, and they don't tend to ping off into the scenery as easily. But yeah, pretty good start, really. Happy with that. Showing some good driving skills there into the first couple of corners, some good racecraft.
Very, very true there, as Dave Hedges looks to be battling away with Angus Martin for position as Aaron Walker goes round the outside of Mark Neutelings in the Mercedes-AMG GT4 in the 666. Sam Spankerlink looks to be not too far behind in the 76 Alpine, as here's Chris Crossman up the inside trying to go through on Adam Isalovic through and makes the move, sticking the BMW for the minutes as Isalovic runs up towards the inside of the next corner, gets the inside on the BMW as they now come through turn 13, go into the right at 14. Crossman nearly into the entrance into the pits on that particular occasion, but now he goes back on the inside through turn 14. Hedges rounding out the top 10, now looking to try and get past. That's a good run out of the corner from Hedges. Oh, nearly gets clattered into by Isalovic coming out of the final corner.
Yeah, those the faster boys that have started lower down, they aren't messing about with Dave Hedges, Chris Crossman, all making fantastic progress so far. And let's not forget, the GT4s start with no tyre warmers, so even after the end of the outlap, they're still not warm. It takes them 2 or 3 laps to get up to temperature. So they're doing an astonishing job and racing really well.
So just under 42.5 minutes. There's Gianluca Di Luca in the 135 chrome, green, white and red Audi, and he's got Michael Haffenden swarming all over his back bumper as they head up into turn 4, then into the right at 5 at the top part of the circuit. Now we go on board with Di Luca, and you can just see how much they're actually working behind the wheel. It's not easy in a GT4 car, let alone a GT3, as they're coming through to the far part of the circuit, now heading through into the left at 8 and into the right at turn 9. But it's very fast, and there's a lot of momentum carrying in this circuit, I must admit, looking from the onboard on Gianluca Di Luca here, Steve. It's a lot of commitment going around this course.
It is. I mean, all the practice tells it's about keeping it smooth and only scrubbing off the speed you need to scrub off, and keeping the momentum going and minimal steering inputs. Just to keep resistance at a minimum and keep the flow going. But that's Hedges looking to go down the inside maybe there?
Possibly, yeah, because he's got, there's a couple of cars just in front. You've got Cody Pride going a bit wide. Crikey, that sounded like a nursery rhyme, didn't it, in its own right? But here's Haffenden trying to go side by side with Gianluca Di Luca.
It just seems to be wherever you look at the moment, it's side by side.
2 by 2, side by side, hurrah! And off they went. Sorry.
We digress.
Yes, we do digress. We always digress here on Simsport Racing. But if you want to get involved, please head to www.simsport-racing.com for further information. You can also sign up to the Discord server. There are plenty of spaces still available for the last 3 rounds of the GT4 Season 1, where we head to Kyalami, Laguna Seca and Circuit Zolder over the 5 weeks. As Chris Crossman having a great battle with, it looks like, Adam Isalovic. It's Adam Isalovic, but Crossman now is battling away with one of the Mercedeses. It looks like Kieran Vidago there in the number 4 he's just got past, as Isalovic now has Aaron Walker breathing down the back exhaust pipes of that Chevy Camaro. But Adam did a really good job last time out of Brands Hatch. We were hoping for a little bit more for him, but even here at the Hungaroring, we've had a massive off, and that was the Janetta involved. Chris Crossman caught in the crossfire, and that was Ranjiv Kalsi that went spiralling off. Let's have a look at the replay. So this is from earlier. So you've got the Alpine there, and that's Angus Martin going off. But yeah. So Neutelings looks to have gotten involved, and that has really sort of that has compromised Chris Crossman. That's dropped him down a couple of places there, as Walker managed to capitalise, and also so did Isalovic. But Walker now up into P6 with 39 minutes and 18 seconds still left on the clock. Let's have a look at this replay. Neutelings goes up the inside and sort of literally powers in as it was so you got the 29. Porsche there, and that was of Johan Pettersson and Sam Spankerlink, and that's another incident. So as much as these drivers are trying hard to keep the cars on the road, it's not been easy even after 6 minutes here, Steve.
No, I mean obviously, like I say, getting the tyres up to temperature, and then the closeness of the racing. And we were just saying wherever we were looking, it was side by side, so it's inevitable that somebody's going to touch somewhere and push someone a little bit wide and maybe even cause a spin. But it's still, predominantly it's still fairly clean racing, I would say. As we go to another replay now.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that's the 115 Aston Martin that goes spiralling into barriers. Richard Emery having to go into the pits to repair damage there. But I mean, even though this is a 5-round champion season, I have to say, hand on heart, I never seen so much drama in the first 10 minutes of a GT race, whether it be GT3 or GT4, as Isalovic up the inside through the chicane on Crossman, manages to go around the outside, and here comes Cody Pride. He's trying to go around the outside. Not too far behind them is Dave Hedges in the Aston Martin. Pride up the inside of Crossman there, nicely done, but Crossman's still keeping it to the outside with the foot planted in, and there comes Dave Hedges trying to make it 3 abreast through there. That would not happen because, as we both know, Steve, 3 into 1 doesn't really go.
No, and I think Chris Crossman is the biggest loser from that earlier incident with when it let Aaron Walker through, because Aaron is obviously he's up to P3 now, so he's battling down for the lead. Right,
so that was a very clear sign of what happened. I think Ranjiv Kalsi just lost it on his own, went across, and then there was one of the Ginettas, and I think that might have been Michael Haffenden, if I'm very much mistaken, because Tim Fulbrook in the 862 Ginetta is leading Paul Lindsay by over 2.3 seconds after just 4 laps of the Hungaroring. So here's a replay here. He just went through the chicane and lost the back end, and it stepped the 570S out and threw him into the general direction of everybody. So I was just informed by our broadcast director that Kalsi actually got attacked from behind. So that could have been why Haffenden ended up being a little bit sideways, coming out of the chicane and going a little bit wide at that corner.
Yeah, as it's playing out now, though, with Aaron Walker 2 seconds behind Lindsay 2 seconds behind Fulbrook, he's literally 4 seconds off. That's a gap he could possibly close down. Forget Vidago's just short of 3 seconds behind Walker. Crossman's got a fair bit of work to do. Hedges and Cody Pride, they're in there still. I mean, you're talking tenths of a second, so it's not over. I think that the top 6 is going to change shape a lot before the end of this race. I think there's going to be some more battling going on.
Yeah, very much the case. It looks like there's quite a lot of people. I've just opened the Simsport Racing YouTube feed and got the live chat, and I've gone, right, there's quite a lot of...
A few names that you might recognise on there, all the GT3 races.
Especially one that someone's saying, sat in the pub, lol, can't hear the stream though. Good evening, Mr. Stephen Haley. Yeah.
Drink a few more beers and make some noises, you'll be fine, buddy.
Yeah. Or just go into the beer garden, put your headphones in. You'll be fine if you do that. Brilliant. The amount of banter that happens on the YouTube chat is absolutely brilliant. But we've got just over 35 minutes of this race left to run. Obviously, no mandatory pit stops. We've got reverse grid races all the way through. And it would be quite funny, though, if Tim Fulbrook in the 862 was to win this, and then he finds himself right stone dead last next time out when we go to Kyalami. And that's a completely different circuit altogether.
Yeah, I mean, Kyalami's another fantastic circuit. They're all good circuits, but yeah, it's another one that's incredibly difficult to overtake at. All the guys coming into this race said it's very hard to overtake here, but to be fair, there's been plenty of overtaking, so I don't know what they were talking about really. I'm not saying it's easy, but there's been plenty of overtaking.
Well, Dave Hedges in the 88 Aston Martin trying to close up on Chris Crossman for P7, and you can just see how close these drivers are. Kieran Vidago leading this train, ahead of Adam Isalovic, Cody Pride, Chris Crossman up ahead in the BMW, the only M4 GT4 on this grid. But we have literally 10 of the 11 brands that were pushed through as part of the DLC pact on this grid here at the Hungaroring. But Tim Fulbrook leads by just over 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, I think the big winner here at the moment is Aaron Walker. After just over sort of 12 minutes of the race, he's 1.5 seconds off the lead, and he started in around about 16th place, I believe.
Yeah, he did. So that's a pretty good showing so far. Regan Mitchell, the only driver that has got the guts and gusto to go into the Maserati Gran Turismo GT4. He's currently running in 9th place behind Dave Hedges. So at the moment it's Janetta leading a duo of Porsches. There's Cody Pride trying to close up on Adam Isailovic in the Chevy Camaro, the 111. But you can just see how hard these drivers are pushing, as there is Regan Mitchell. As they say, Steve, speak of the devil and he's off the pier. Here's Sam Spankelink in the Alpine, trying to close up on Johan Pettersson, who in the meantime is trying to get past John Aegis in the 33 Porsche. Aegis towards the inside. This is a very tight first corner here at the Hungaroring, and Spankelink trying to put it around the outside, and then Angus Martin goes up the inside. But you can just see how much these drivers are battling as Pride is trying to go and get one up on Isailovic at the moment.
Yeah, and Crossman and Hedges battling hard behind as well, so it's 2 by 2 again, as they're really pushing for positions, because effectively those 4 guys there that we're watching on the larger screen at the moment, last week they were battling in the top 5.
Yeah, and I can't believe this. 12 minutes and Aaron Walker is in second, and he's half a second off of Tim Fulbrook. Oh, do they say that lightning strikes twice, Steve?
I think with Aaron it may well do. Looking at his lap times, his best lap time is it's well over a second and a half faster than Tim's. So he's certainly on it. As we can see now, he's latched onto the back of Mr. Fulbrook, and he's putting a move on him there down the inside. Nicely done.
Yeah, through turn 12 there, taking as much curb as he can do. Runs a little bit wide out of the corner through into turn 12A, as Fulbrook thinks, well, actually, he might have just been able to send it like absolutely nobody's business going into turn 12. And I think this might be a good test for Tim Fulbrook, if I'm honest here, because he's got 3.8 seconds between himself and Paul Lindsay in the 21. I think Tim Fulbrook's in a pretty good position at the minute, but it just depends on how everyone closes up. I mean, air temperature at the moment, virtually speaking, 19 degrees Celsius. Track temperature a further 6 degrees higher than that, 25. But Aaron Walker, Steve, 1 minute 52.899, and is now leading as we hit 31 minutes and 5 seconds still to go in round 2 of the season here in Hungary.
Yeah, I mean, on that move that Aaron made on Tim Fulbrook, I don't think Mr. Fulbrook defended it too rigorously. I think he's done the right thing. Realistically, it probably, although it was the lead of the race, he's maybe thinking, at the end of the day, this guy's going to get me. So if I let him past and I just try and tag onto the back of him and see if he can pull me along, and maybe I can keep second place. Who knows? I see Aaron. He's 1.3 in front, so he's certainly pulling a gap on him. But obviously, the other guys we're looking at with Crossman here, he's another one that's going to be trying to get up to the front. They're just tripping over each other a little bit. There has to be said, these guys battling so hard.
Yeah, I completely agree there with you. But at the moment, the running order, with just over half an hour of this race to go, Aaron Walker leads by 1.342 seconds ahead of Tim Fulbrook. Paul Lindsay rounds out the top 3 ahead of Kieran Vidago. Cody Pride, Adam Isailovic, Chris Crossman, who's on your screen, just ahead of Dave Hedges, and there's Regan Mitchell and the Sol Maserati rounding out the top 9. Michael Haffenden and Mark Raddenbury, they ran out the top 11 positions ahead of Johan Pettersson, who looks to have got past John Aegis. Sem Spankelink in the 76 Alpine, A110 GT4, 14th ahead of Angus Martin in 15th. Gavin Utley, Mark Neuterlings, Ranjiv Kalsi, Richard Emery and Gianluca De Luca, the 20 that are showing on my timing screen, but obviously on the left-hand side of your screens for those watching at home, you can see that there are 19 cars. So it looks like De Luca might have, I don't know whether he's had traumas or whether he's had a technical issue or something like that, but 19 cars still running after just over 15 minutes.
As we're watching from the back of Mr. Crossman's car here, looking at Dave Hedges and Regan Mitchell there, who's got the Maserati nicely warmed up. It must have taken him a few laps, but he seems to have increased his pace now that they've cleared a bit of traffic. But that BMW is certainly, it's like its bigger brother. It's very wide to get past when you wanting to be in front of it.
And that's what it's all about here. Okay, this might be a fast circuit in its own right, but the drivers are trying to keep it nice and composed, not make any undue unforced errors, because the minute you do that at the Hungaroring, you are literally exposed to any kind of attack, whether it be around the outside, around the inside. Oh, Hedges looks to put his nose in up the inside through. I think that was turn 5 there, as they now have the run down to turns 6 and 7, and then they'll go into the left at 8. But Dave Hedges was looking very, very menacing there. He runs a little bit wide and kicks up a little bit of dirt off the grass. But Hedges was looking menacing there on Crossman for that position through into turn 5, wasn't he, Steve?
Yeah, and it's all about applying the pressure, isn't it? That's what he's trying to do. He's making sure that Crossman's looking as much in his mirrors as he is looking forward. As we see Mr. Cody Pride going down the outside of Mr. Lindsay into what is turn 12, but he's not managed to get that done as they just go out of sight. But he's glued to that bumper, and he's certainly pressuring, and he's looking to make the move. Maybe he's going to get the slipstream down the start-finish straight if he can just keep close enough.
I think, I wholeheartedly agree with that one, because it's about the slipstreams. Pride gets a really good run. Here comes Kieran Vidago along with this as well, and he's going to get a good tow off of Cody Pride. Pride's going to get the run down into turn 1. He's got the inside line. Vidago towards the outside could have made that possibly 3 abreast, but then Vidago might have to do a late break. If he can't do it through here, he does, and that's neatly done by the Mercedes.
Yeah,
past Paul Lindsay. Well, that was spot on. But then the next corner, Lindsay is going to have the advantage back again in his favour, but Vidago thinks otherwise. Isailovic, Crossman, Hedges, and now Regan Mitchell make this the Cody Pride train.
Cody Pride train.
Forget Jarno Trulli, his days are long gone. Whenever I see someone leading at least 6 cars, you add the word train to their first and last name. So it's always entertaining when you have this kind of situation here, Steve, because it is like it's like a race circuit chess board, and you don't know who's the pawn, who's the rook, who's the queen, who's the bishop, and who's going to be the one that says checkmate at the end of the altercation.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're just putting each other under so much pressure at the moment. I mean, some of the other guys that were starting at the pointy end, as we go to another replay now. Car number 33. Oh,
Sam Spenkelink getting a bit too happy on trying to bump someone from behind. That was John Aegis in the 33. So I think that will definitely make the ears of the stewards actually prick up like the dog when they actually hear something from far away.
I think the first thing they'll hear is the ping of an incident report coming into the mailbox.
Yeah, it'll be like you'll hear the family fortunes buzzer, straight away they go, yeah, there we go, there's an incident just happened. Oh, who was involved? New boy.
Yeah, but as I was going to say earlier, a lot of these drivers that we're watching at the moment that are in the Cody Pride train, we were saying to some of the more inexperienced drivers that were at the front of the grid tonight, don't worry about your mirrors, just drive on your racing line, and the guy behind you's got to get past. But that's easy said when you're in a position like this where there's 3 or 4, 5, 6 fast guys together. You've got to have a look in the mirror.
Yep, so, there's another little turnaround there, and that is the 75 of Mark Reddenbury, and that was that the 29, I think that was involved there, so that would have been Johan Pettersson.
Yeah, 29, I think Johan lost that one himself, and it was just an unfortunate that Reddenbury collected him, but yeah, Johan had already lost the back end, I think, on that one.
Oh, that was very, very close between Paul Lindsay and Adam Isailovic. They're going through into turn 6 and 7. That's allowed Crossman to close back on them. Oh, great spot there by the broadcast director to pick that one up. But it was so close because you had Paul on the outside, Adam on the inside. Adam looked like he was about to lose the back end of the Chevy, but managed to keep it together.
I think it was Paul. It was Paul that lost the back end, which allowed Adam to come up alongside him. And yeah, it was just as Paul sort of corrected, they made a little bit of contact. But then obviously Mr. Crossman in the BMW had to lift, and that just Constantine and those guys back up if there was any room to Constantine up anymore. As we see, Regan's starting to get a bit feisty at the back there. He's going from side to side behind Dave, just letting him know he's there, as if he's going to miss a pink and white Maserati. But
Well, I mean, even if you had a satellite taking a picture for Google Maps, I don't think you could even miss Regan Mitchell's car in the livery bits. And then quickly you'll say, "Oh, hang on, that's Dave Hedges just up ahead."
We've been giving Dave Hedges a little bit of stick in the Discord chat recently because he seems to be hogging the airtime on our streams at the moment. But it is just down to the great racing that he's been providing for us.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm sorry. Our broadcast director says, "Yeah, I'll just cut away from him." Oh, this is what I love about this, that we can all have a bit of a giggle and have a bit of a laugh and watch some fantastic racing. Again, just by how Regan Mitchell. Oh, Regan runs a little bit wide out of there. Now that was very, very close. Now, we've seen how this car can bite, and we saw him going sideways at Brands Hatch last time out. As Steve Haley, I don't know, where's he picking up these phrases from via the YouTube chat? He says, "My boy doing the business." I think we might need to have a word with Mr. Haley before Monza, wouldn't you think, for GT3?
I'm just looking at his text and I'm thinking he's taken our advice and had a few more beers, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to... Yeah, Steve, just keep it up, mate. You're doing fine. It's all right. We could do with the comic relief.
Just all I'll say to Steve Haley on the stream is don't get too cheeky. I have got the photographs from the weekend.
Oh. A little birdie did tell me about something that happened at the weekend, but I don't really remember what exactly I was told, and I'm sure that you'll enlighten me off air. So that's enough said about that. 22 minutes to go. Aaron Walker still leads. Tim Fulbrook, I must admit here, Steve, doing a fantastic job. I mean, he might be 5.2 seconds behind Aaron Walker, but he's 3.5 seconds ahead of Cody Pride. Crossman into the side of Lindsay, coming out of the final corner. Oh my goodness!
I didn't quite see what happened there. I mean, did Crossman did his back end break away, or?
I'm not too sure, because I caught the tail end of that as Hedges now goes up into what is P6 on the road. I'm sure
and Mitchell following him as well there, yeah.
Yeah, so Crossman having his day's gone from bad to worse as Michael Havenden. Right, okay, let's have a look at the replay. They're coming through the final corner. Lindsay to the outside. Yeah, Crossman just literally tries to turn in, but then I think it's just a little too little too late, and that's allowed Hedges, Mitchell and Havenden to get through, as Lindsay now is ahead of Havenden. Crossman down to 10th position, and he's a second off of Havenden. So, you were saying about how difficult this track is to pass at, and we've just seen the perfect example of when it doesn't go right and it goes completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a difficult one. Is that personally, just under that initial look at that, I don't think he was left enough room. He tried to turn him Lindsay tried to turn him too tight. Lindsay could have moved out wider and given Chris more space, but it's one of those. It's 6 and 2 3s. Obviously, Crossman was trying to make the pass on him, and Lindsay was trying to defend, so he didn't come across Chris Crossman. He just maybe didn't give him as much room as he could have.
Yeah, just over 20 minutes to go. Top 10 at the moment is as follows. Walker leads from Fulbrook. Pride in third. Vidago in fourth ahead of Isalovic, as we see John Aegis in the 33 Porsche behind Mark Gradenbury, who is our driver on reverse grid pole. Regan Mitchell now up to 7th behind Dave Hedges. Adam Isalovic in the Chevy Camaro GT4, still running quite well. He's only 1.7 seconds behind Kieran Vidago in 4th place. Havenden and Crossman ran out the top 10, followed by Martin, Spakerlink, Radenbury, Aegis, Gavin Utley having started from the pit lane now up into P15, Johan Pedersen, Mark Neutelings, Ranjiv Kelsey and Richard Emery look to be rounding out the 19 that are still racing, as we are fast approaching the last third of the race when we hit 15 minutes on the timer as Aegis up the inside. Oh, gets a little tag from behind by Raddenbury, and that allows Utley to go through. And then so too comes Johan Pedersen in the 29 Porsche.
That's the nature of the GT4s. One little mistake, and when they're racing as close as this, you can soon lose 2-3 positions. Mr. Fulbrook still hanging on in second place, albeit 6.6 seconds back. Cody Pride closing in on him now at 2.3. Vidago 4.3. So I think Mr. Fulbrook's doing a very good job, but I think we're going to maybe see him, prediction for the race, maybe drop down to 4th or 5th place at this, I think.
Yeah, but as they say, the checkered flag has yet to fall, but yeah, Pride is absolutely flying. He's got Fulbrook in his crosshairs, and last time around, Tim Fulbrook did a 1 minute 54.882, and Cody Pride was just 1,000ths off of a second quicker on that last lap, so the gap's now down to 1.5. But Tim Fulbrook keeping it very, very nice and clean. Aegis battling away with Utley, Pedersen, Raddenbury not too far behind. And this is quite another close battle as well, Steve. I think we've seen it all the way through Brands Hatch, and now we're seeing it here in Hungary, that it doesn't matter where you might be on the field. If you're in a GT4, you're going to find yourself in some sort of skirmish.
Yeah, everybody wants to be in front of you, so it's just with a reverse grid, it's proved to be a good battle. There's been a little bit of contact, but there are still the close battles from front to back, and they're all sort of broken up into the little packs. And there's certainly groups where no one's getting away from anybody. But we're just going to see now as Gav Utley's going to try and outbreak him into T1, but he's going to make him go around the outside, which that's not going to work. So Gav's probably going to cut back, which he does, and yeah, textbook, there you go.
I think that's really the best overtaking spot that you've got here at the Hungaroring, because it's quite a deep braking zone. It's up the inside. Oh, no! That was not what Pedersen and Aegis wanted, so Pedersen tried to go past, and Aegis went, no you don't, yellow flag's out. That was not an incident that I don't think anyone wanted, as we see Michael Haffenden now being chased down by the recovering Chris Crossman. You can see a little bit of damage on the front of the M4. The bumper looks to be a bit bent in, and the bonnet's a little bit out of alignment, let's say. There's about a half-inch gap underneath the bottom part of the bonnet and the top part of the front grille, where it's looking very much second-hand.
Yeah, Mr. Crossman will be keen to make up those places again, and be disappointed he's having to pass the same cars again now to get back to where he was. And obviously it's all about the championship, so he wants to score as many points as possible tonight. Yeah,
coming into this round he was 5th in the M4 with 32 points, as Haffenden now trying to get away from Crossman, but in the meantime trying to get past Paul Lindsay for position. This is the battle for 8th place, as Haffenden looking to go a bit late breaky there. You can see that these cars do take a little bit of surface damage, as there's a lot of scuff marks on the front and rear wheel arches of the 861 Ginetta, and he's just put in a 1 minute 56.097, and Chris Crossman was actually over 3/10 slower. Paul Lindsay keeping ahead by about 1/10 and a half. Oh, nice move by Haffenden up the inside of Paul Lindsay as he went wide, coming down to the next corner. Lindsay has got to watch. He's going to try and go up the inside of Haffenden to retake the position, but the Ginetta stays in front. Oh, just over 15 minutes of this race remaining, and that was a cracking move by Michael Haffenden there, Steve.
Yeah, the Ginetta is very good on the brakes, it has to be said, and it can carry a bit more corner speed. It's a very lightweight car, is the Ginetta, so I don't think the Porsche was ever going to outbrake him once they were alongside each other.
Right, we've got a little bit of a replay there. Johan Pedersen trying to go towards the inside. Oh! And I don't know what happened there. He just went literally straight on and took John Aegis with him along the roller coaster ride. Oh, bit of a moment there for Paul Lindsay. Lindsay losing the back end of the Porsche again, but this time Chris Crossman trying to go up the inside. Can't get through, but that was definitely a new underwear moment there for Paul Lindsay on that particular moment coming through the corners.
Yeah, did well to hold on to that and sort of keep it going in the right direction and not make contact with Crossman there, and as Crossman's showing him the BMW in all mirrors at the moment, I think he's going to probably get past him, certainly into T1. I think Chris will have a go, probably try the cutback manoeuvre.
Yes, because you can just see how different the driving style is of Paul Lindsay in comparison with Chris Crossman. And you can see how hard, just by the way that the car is moving in terms of Paul Lindsay. And you see Chris Crossman come out of the corner. It's a very different kettle of fish altogether. As he's now going to get the rundown into turn 1. He'll keep it to as late as possible. He's now going to pull out of the slipstream, up into turn 1, up the inside of Lindsay. Lindsay trying to turn in, as Crossman now will start powering out of the corner in the BMW M4, gets the move done before they head to turn 2, having got through the apex of turn 1A. So nice work by both Michael Haffenden and Chris Crossman. Next up, that Paul Lindsay could end up facing, possibly through turn 1, could be the number 31 Audi of Angus Martin, as now Cody Pride has now got past Tim Fulbrook for second position. So Fulbrook has got about 5 seconds. He's got to try and keep that gap between himself and Kieran Vidago. But I'm just looking at the times here, Steve, and Vidago is currently around about 0.7 of a second quicker than Tim Fulbrook. So Fulbrook now really needs to respond, as we've got yellow flags with 12 3/4 minutes out. Yellow flag gets retracted. So it is down to Fulbrook to decide his destiny here in the second round of the season.
Well, I think the cavalry's coming in maybe to save the day, depending. Zailovic is only sort of 7/10 off Vidago, so Vidago may have more pressing things to worry about with Adam behind him. That could slow them both down a little bit and give Fulbrook a little bit of breathing space as we move into the sort of last 12 minutes of this race. Maybe that'd be enough for him. I'm not quite sure, but we will find out very shortly. So Dave Hedges isn't far behind Zailovic. Made a real mess of his name there. Zailovic there. Hedges is only 1.3 back. He's trying to cling onto the back of them, and there's a bit of a gap then back to Regan Mitchell, who seems to have dropped off in the Maserati.
Yeah, Regan Mitchell finished 4th last time around and came into this with 34 points to his credit. So it's going to be, so he will score 28, I think, because it will be the same points all the way through. It's 50 for a win. You get a point for fastest lap. But obviously we're not having pole positions. Oh, now that was a McLaren I spotted there, and John Aegis has got a drive-through penalty. So Ranjiv Kalsi, I think, has been in the trenches yet again. We saw that earlier on in the race, but now he's all the way down in 17th position, as Isalovic now closing on Vidago. So the Mercedes now has to watch what's going on, thinking, can I catch Fulbrook? Oh no, I've got a Chevrolet on my back bumper. This is not going to be great. As now Isalovic looks up the inside, and that was through into the left at turn 8. Now into the right at 9. They'll start flooring it on the accelerator pedal, coming through out of the corner, down into the left at 10, and into the right at 11 before they really carry the momentum through, and the short blast down to turn 12. And what's more, Steve, is it's not Isalovic, it's also Dave Hedges. He's really closed up to the Chevrolet, and it was about 0.6 of a second last time around.
Yeah, it's going to be a three-way battle into turn 1. I imagine again down here now. Obviously Hedges is quite tenacious, and he's looking to make up a couple more positions before the end of this race. He's probably got his eye on P3, I would imagine, Dave. Realistic guy, but always ambitious, and he'll race to the checkered flag. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now into turn 1.
Yeah, so Isalovic has Hedges in the tow. Isalovic in the tow of Kieran Vidago heading down into turn 1. So it's Mercedes versus Chevrolet. Now the bottom right-hand corner of your screen on board. Oh, punt from behind on Vidago by Isalovic. And that allows Dave Hedges the opportunity that he very well needed. Oh, that was going to end ugly, and it ended up happening ugly on the exit out of turn 1 with Vidago getting a punt from Isalovic. So Hedges now up into P4 in the 88 Aston Martin. And with the pace that he's showing at the moment here, Steve, Dave Hedges last time did a 1 minute 53.8, but Tim Fulbrook, well, Dave Hedges did a 1 minute 54.0. Tim Fulbrook is 1.1 seconds slower, well, over 1.1 seconds slower, as Angus Martin now closes in on Paul Lindsay for P9 on the circuit, as they're now going to head down towards the left at turn 4 and into the right at 5. So let's have a look at this replay. Now, coming to the first corner, Isolovic just sends it, loses it a little bit under braking, and the car just straight lines and spears into the back of Vidago there. And Hedges just goes, "Oh, thank you very much for opening the door, gents. I definitely will take that as after you, sir."
Absolutely gifted that one to Dave, and really unlucky for Kieran there, as Adam just gave him a bit of a nerf. Like you say, he got on the brakes, he got onto the brakes very hard into T1, and once you've lost sort of traction at the front end there, you've lost any steering capability, and he just went straight on and unfortunately tapped the back end of Vidago, sending him around. Did the gentlemanly thing, waited for Kieran to rejoin in front of him, so as much as he could do really in that situation.
So the pair of them now in 6th and 7th, and another driver that has profited from that is Regan Mitchell in the 69 Maserati, now up into 5th place.
Yeah, another good solid drive from Regan, and he's just keeping his head down and keeping out of trouble, which is all they can do. Just trying to see where Regan finished last week.
4th place.
4th place, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's two solid results if he can bring it home in that place. Got 8 minutes to go.
Well, I'm just going to do some brief calculations at the moment. So Aaron Walker at the moment, currently leading the way, is on 52 points. So he's got the fastest lap at the moment. A win gives you 50 points plus a point for the fastest lap. And at the moment, Cody Pride would take 44 points as a result of that. Tim Fulbrook actually was 13th, so took 16 points last time out, and this would put him on an additional 38, so that would put him on 54 points. So Regan Mitchell would actually end up leading this by 103. Obviously, all these results that I'm sort of going through at the moment are what's happening at the moment, because Dave Hedges again has gone quicker by over 1 second than Tim Fulbrook. So maybe, as a little bit sideways there through the chicane. I'm sorry, Paul Lindsay, but if you keep on doing that Tokyo drift for that Porsche, Angus Martin and Sam Spenkelink will be past you quicker than a box of frogs. I'm just really, and you can just see how hard he is pushing to keep ahead at the moment. Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, Steve Haley will drop down the order. Obviously, he's not with us this evening, but Cody Pride, I think, will effectively take 2nd position, and he will have 82 points.
Yeah,
so,
that's the beauty of the reverse grid, I think, is it's going to share the championship points out. I mean, obviously we've got Aaron Walker, who's had another dominant drive, and he's 10 seconds in the lead, but the guys behind are all sort of mixed up a little bit, and there's a couple of guys in there that were further down the field last week. So the reverse grid is really working in that respect.
Yeah, good to see that Sam Spankelink in the Alpine. I nearly said Audi there. Sorry. That's the problem when you got two manufacturers that have the same first initial on them. But Spenkelink in the A110 GT4, I love that car. It really is a nice addition. I mean, when I saw the car, through multiple press conferences at multiple motor shows as we go on board, and it's just one of those really pays tribute to the original Alpine A110 back in the 60s and 70s when Alpine was at its top in rallying, and now we see that the Alpine brand has definitely decided to embrace GT4 with open arms, and what a beautiful car it is.
Yeah, it's part of some great close racing this evening, and he's doing well to cling on to the back of those two. I've not driven the car myself in ACC, but I know some people that have, and they sort of say it lacks a little bit in top speed, but round the corners and on the brakes it does an awesome job. It's certainly got some benefits to make up for the lack of top speed. Yeah, as
Spenkelink I think has got past Lindsay now, which is the case, and here's so in many respects the Alpine trying to do the best job it can. There's Mark Neuselings, there's Gavin Utley in 12th place, there's Spenkelink ahead of Paul Lindsay, as Lindsay could have gone very, very late on the brakes there, and I think that Spenkelink would have been spinning more times than a spinning top.
Yeah, certainly. I certainly think he would probably Lindsay closed his eyes then a little bit on the brakes because it almost looked like he was going to be a bit rash and cause an incident.
I've just had a bit of bad news. Unfortunately, Michael Heffenden has said that he's had a system crash through ACC. So unfortunately, he said I've really enjoyed the battles, but unfortunately, my apologies to Gianluca for contact. There's an honest racing driver if ever you heard one. But his teammate, Tim Fulbrook, going great guns, 5.6 seconds behind Cody Pride. But Dave Hedges hasn't been making the inroads as maybe we might have thought here, Steve, because the last lap, Dave Hedges must have had a bit of a drama because he's at a 155.392. Tim Fulbrook has been consistently running anywhere between a 154.4 and a 154.6. He's just done a 54.654 on that last lap.
Yeah, so obviously 3.5 minutes to go. Tim could pull off a third place here. It'd be amazing to see. Dave's got 4 seconds to make up on him at the minute, and has come through the next split. But yeah, 4 seconds is I would say is going to be too much to make up in 3 minutes, even for mighty Dave Hedges.
Yes, definitely the case. Here is Tim Fulbrook. He's coming through turn 13 and then into the right at 14.
But that's what racing's all about, though, isn't it, Alex? It's just keep your head down, put the laps in. You don't have to be the fastest man on the track. If you can do lap after lap within a couple of tenths of each other, you're going to do well. Yeah,
and Tim Fulbrook has been doing that, and he's now 5.6 seconds. We're just having a look at the lap times between the top 5. So Aaron Walker looks to be the quickest on a 1 minute 53.475. I think Dave Hedges might have heard me. He's just done a 53.931. Tim Fulbrook on a 54.5. Cody Pride on a 54.2. And then Regan Mitchell a 54.4. So everyone's running to a fairly consistent pace, as there's the forlorn number 47 of Ranjith Kelsey there going through, I think, what was turn 2. As Dave Hedges got past 2 minutes on the clock still to go, as Aaron Walker, and they say that he's been doing a great job and you haven't really talked about him. That's exactly what he's done. I mean, he's 12.2 seconds ahead of Cody Pride, and there's Isalovic still trying to battle away with Kieran Vidago for what is 6th position.
Yeah, we've got a message on YouTube from Aaron's wife Amy. Just foot to the floor now, Aaron. Walker, go, go, go. And it looks like Team Regan from Claire. She says you're cute. So go Team Regan.
I was wondering, was it Regan or was it the livery on the car that this person was talking about?
We may never know.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the broadcast director says, "Oh, they never see me." Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Oh, I'm so glad that I did not stoop that low. Thank you very much, Mr. Bradley.
Someone had to. The opportunity was there.
At least it was the one that decided. Guilty as charged, my friend. Guilty.
Never mess with the broadcaster. Lesson learned.
Yes, indeed. As Isalovic nearly goes a bit sideways coming through, and I am watching actually the YouTube stream at the minute, so I can see all the comments, and I'm sure that I'll see your face front and centre, Mr. Proudly, very, very shortly.
Yeah, well, I'm going to just switch off on that point, I think, now. But yeah, Archie, Regan's adorable. Bit of man love there for Regan as well, from a fellow driver.
Yeah, Steve Hinden said, bad luck, Mr. Crossman, but great race, Aaron, well done. 15 on the clock, and yeah, again, this is what I like about these championships, where, GT3, GT4, they have their own idiosyncrasies, as we now hit 0 on the timer. As fast as 45 minutes got underway 45 minutes ago, it's come around very, very quickly. And Aaron Walker is about to make it 2 for 2 in the Simsport Racing Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 Season 1 Round 2. As now he will go into the right-hander at turn 12 for the final time, into slight kink at 12A, through into turn 13. One more corner to go. He started down in 16th position 45 minutes ago as the number 99 Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 MR Club Sport of Aaron Walker comes across the line and takes the checkered flag. And what a dominant display.
It has to be said, a dominant display, and it doesn't look like there's a scratch on the car either to say he's fought his way through the whole field pretty much.
Yeah.
There's Dave Hedges, Regan, the cute Regan.
Yeah, Cody Pride is taken second, and very shortly, Tim Fulbrook takes a podium. Rounding out the top three does the TouringCars.net DTM reporter, a role that I actually used to be in. So he'll be happy as Larry, and I'm sure that Michael... Oh my goodness. Steve Hinden, please don't you start on having a Regan crush too. And Angus Martin flashing the lights, and Sem Spankelink in the Alpine making its debut needs to complete the top 10. Paul Lindsay and Gavin Utley ran at the top 12 positions. Richard Emery will end up in 16th. Ranjiv Kalsi will come home to cross the line in 18th position. Obviously, Michael Haffenden and Gianluca De Luca did not make the finish. Mark Neuteling's in 13th. Raddenbury, who was on reverse grid pole, took 14th place. Arch says, great racing all. Well done to Aaron, Cody and Tim. Yep, very much deserved by all three drivers, but also we can't forget about the remaining 17 competitors that have taken part in our race here at the Hungaroring for GT4 Season 1, Round 2. But Steve, your thoughts after what's been... We've had incidents and accidents. We're probably after the race going to have hints and allegations. But it brings us very nicely onto the halfway point in just 7 days' time. That's Kyle Army in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew running the reverse grid was going to be, potentially bring maybe one or two incidents in there, because there's a lot of new guys racing together that haven't raced together before. We're looking at new cars with the GT4s, obviously. But all in all, I think that was quite a successful outing for the guys. There was some really good close racing. Obviously, some guys were a little bit unlucky. Chris Crossman strikes me as one. But Aaron put in a really dominant performance there. I mean, his fastest lap was a 52.8, and he was the only guy in the field to get into the 52s. Everybody else was in 53s. I think the next closest was a 53.2. So, albeit 4/10 off Aaron's fastest lap. So, yeah, a deserved winner. But, yeah, can't forget the rest of the guys. Some fantastic racing throughout the field, a few good close battles all the way down, and for the first 10-15 minutes I think it was 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, wasn't it? It was
hurrah. Yeah, it was. But I'm now going to head down to the interview booth to speak to some drivers, but before I do that, Steve Hinden writes on the Simsport Racing YouTube chat, great racing all, great job on the live stream, apart from the proudly extreme close-up. And I was just about to, if someone says Wayne's World, I thought I'd get in there quickly first.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. That's our friendship now ended there. I'm gonna just 7 days to dig some dirt now, haven't I?
You're not going to find any on me on social media. But I will now head down to the interview booth and have a chat with some drivers. So I'll be back with you in just a couple of moments, Steve.
Cheers.
Right, well, first things first, it's 2 for 2, Aaron Walker. A really good start. You managed to keep that car very, very clean. I think that's nigh on scratch-free, that Porsche. How do you feel now that you've taken a pretty good lead in the standings?
Hey Alex, yeah, over the moon. Bit of a crazy race. As you said, kept it fairly clean. I think I only had a bit of contact with Dave, which I'm pretty disappointed with. I need to have a look at the replay on that one, but I think he came off quite badly, so apologies to Dave. But yeah, the car's still pretty mint, I think.
Now, we go to Kyle Army next week, a very different circuit. Obviously, it's going to be quite a bit more of an action fest, I think, even though we had one here at the Hungaroring. That could really spice things up for the second reverse grid race out of 4 that we'll have this season in just a week's time. Is Kyle Army a circuit that you're looking forward to competing at, or is it one that you think might prove to be a little bit more difficult than you might anticipate?
I like Kyalami, so from that perspective, I'm fine with it. I haven't tried the GT4 Porsche there, but the GT3 Porsche is very good at Kyalami. So if there's a Porsche track there, hopefully it's a Porsche track with the GT4s as well. Looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Well, well done, Aaron. Congratulations on your second win in a row.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in a week's time at Kyalami.
Thank you, Alex. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Right. Well, next up, a former colleague of mine, touringcars.net, who is DTM reporter, Tim Fulbrook. Buddy, on the podium, second time. Well done, mate. Great job. How do you feel?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. I'm surprised to start off with. I didn't expect to be on the podium. I mean, I led at one point, and I felt like I'd done a bit of a Marcus Winkelhock. But anyway,
at least there wasn't.
Yeah, I was really happy with how that race went. I mean, had a difficult brands, and then to benefit, of course, as you do. It's the name of the game from the reverse grid. Then to be up towards the front, I kept my nose clean. I think Lindsay in front in the Cayman had a slight spin at T1, which meant I got through. But then it was just about hot lapping basically and managing my position. But yeah, really happy all round.
Well done, Tim. Congratulations. Obviously, it's going to be a different order for you in the back end of the grid. And that's going to be a different conundrum all in its own right, because you've had one qualifying session, and that was at Brands Hatch. You then made it up through to finish 13th last time round, and you and Michael both got into the points. But it's going to be not so easy next time out at Kyalami, and that's a very different challenge altogether. Yeah,
100%. I mean, the Ginetta's not the best in the straight line. And here at the Hungaroring, fortunately, you've only got one real big straight to deal with. At Brands, you had a couple. I think we were losing maybe 3 or 4 tenths a lap, basically, in the straights. Go to Kyalami, and there's a lot more kind of flat, wide open spaces of track, if you like. So I'm a bit concerned how me and Mike's are going to get on. But, it's the name of the game. We have strengths in some areas, weaknesses in others. Starting at the back, I'm not expecting to be going far forwards, but I'll do what I've done in the last 2 races and wait for other people to make mistakes and take the places as they come.
Well put there, Tim. Congratulations on your podium this evening. See you in a week's time at Kyalami.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex.
Steve, both Aaron and Tim. This is Tim's second race with us here at Simsport. You said that there was a possibility he might get 4th, but for him to get a podium on just a second race, that just shows how quickly some people can settle. And if they're given the right opportunity, like, say, a reverse grid race, it does show that if you keep your nose clean, keep the driving style smooth and consistent, it can work out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. As we kept saying through the stream, and as Mr. Fulbrook said then, he just kept his head down, he kept hot lapping, and that's what we said, keep your head down, keep hot lapping. It's down to the other guy to catch you and not make mistakes, and it's, you tend to find the guys that are pushing to catch, they've got cars to pass, and that's when the mistakes happen. And, it all played out for Tim tonight. Fantastic drive, brilliant to bring it home, and we're really, really glad at Simsport to have, guys like him joining us and racing with us, because it just enhances the group, not just on the track, but off the track. Been communicating through Twitter, he's on Discord, things like that. It's the whole community thing, and that's what we're all about.
Indeed. But final thoughts, Steve, as we in 7 days' time we'll head to South Africa and Kyalami for round 3 of the Simsport Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 Season 1. I'm rather looking forward to it, because obviously I did see the race that happened last time out for the last round of GT3s, but GT4s again is going to show just how well these production-based cars are going to fare around the circuit.
It is, and again, it's another one of those circuits where it is key to keep your corner speed up, because you've got a few sort of reasonably long straights there. Lead corners lead into other corners and straights where you need to keep that corner speed up. And as Tim was alluding to there on the Ginetta, it's more important on cars like that, because they don't have the great top speed of some of the other cars. The big question is, will Aaron Walker be able to do it again? Because obviously he's going to be at the back, more or less at the back of the grid again. But we'll have people like Steve Haley will be back next week to maybe try and keep him honest. Hopefully Chris Crossman will have a better race. Obviously Dave Hedges will be there again, so it won't be easy for him, and the guys will get used to the reverse grids, and maybe we'll find less contact week on week as we keep doing them. But based on tonight's success, obviously I think it's something we can take forward and just keep building on, and it's provided some great racing.
Definitely agree with you there, Steve. So if you do want to get involved with Simsport Racing, head to simsport-racing, I think it's .co.uk, if memory serves me correctly. .com, thank you. Because there are still plenty of spots available on the grid. I think there's around about 15 still available, maybe more than that. Obviously, we had 20 cars this evening. But from myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Steve Proudley, your commentators for the Simsport Racing ACC GT4 Season 1, we say goodbye to the Hungaroring. We say hello to Kyle Army in just a week's time. And then on the 16th of August, GT3 roars back into action with a 90-minute encounter at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. Good night, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for watching.
Good night.